Look at how swollen it is.
Bro, what'd you do?
See how swollen it is?
What'd you do?
I don't know. I woke up and it was like...
Do you have an e-bike?
Look at this. I can't even...
Dude, that's how mine is.
Look how fat it is. Oh, it looks like a freaking dead person's hand.
What'd you do?
I don't know. I wish I knew. Here.
Doo-doo!
Beep, beep. There we go. I know. It's been so bad.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, we are here. We are live. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of King of the Court. Do you like my shirt?
I actually do. It looks like it's fresh out of the
Do you like my
package.
hair? I got ready for this episode. I'm ready.
Your shirt looks like it's fresh out of the package.
It is.
Like you've never wore it before.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do like it. It's
kinda nice.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. Alrighty, welcome back. We have a lot to get over, but first we got to give a big shout out to our title sponsor who makes this podcast possible. Who is it, Jimmy?
The Pickler.
The Pickler.
Tyler.
We love the Pickler. Tell us about the Pickler.
August 8th, Tyler.
Okay.
National Pickleball Day. Did you know that?
I feel like I always forget about it, but then when it happens, you know.
So we talked about they're doing the Picklr Heritage Cup with wood paddles.
All wood paddles, yep.
Which is going to be sick. But one thing that we forgot to mention, kind of a surprise. Mm-hmm. It's not just for members. It is completely free for non-members too.
So it's free for everybody.
Free for everybody. So whether you're a Pickler, been playing in the Pickler for years, you've never been to the Pickler, you're invited. No strings, no fees.
Go sign up.
Go
all the
sign
locations.
up. Yep, just pickleball. So Pickler's basically doing a totally free tournament with wood paddles. So everybody can play. That's
Do you think
pretty
people
sick.
will get more mad or less mad during this wood tournament?
I think that they will get... I think if you play competitively, you might get more mad because there's shots that you probably thought you could hit.
Yeah.
I think the players that play for fun might, be okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Picklr Heritage Cup, August 8th, free for everyone, open to all. Go to your local Pickler club or use the link. You can go to Picklr.com, download the app. Lots of ways to sign up, but I don't see why everybody shouldn't play in this.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Should we play in it?
We should. That would be epic content.
With wood paddles?
Yes. Or a ping pong paddle. How about that?
Ping pong. It is wood.
Yeah.
So yeah, check it out. Pickler. Obviously, if you also want to sign up for the Pickler, they are hoping to have anywhere between 65 and 85 locations open by the end of the year.
They're close to 50 as of right now. Close to 50.
Yeah. So I, with this new, Vulcan has the deal with the Pickler. Long story, like from back in the day. And so I get to see like when these Pickler grand openings are coming. And
It's got spread
it's
out on the
every
calendar.
single freaking week.
Yeah.
Or more, like multiple a week.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's exciting.
Thank you to the Pickler for sponsoring this podcast. If you're interested in opening your own location, Pickler location, franchising, reach out to them and tell them that the guys at KOTC sent you. Also, another sponsor of this podcast is Picklecon. We love Picklecon. We actually did an interview with one of the employees, one of the founders, and they kind of give us a little bit of background, kind of what to expect. That will be releasing this week as well. 37 more days until doggy yoga.
Yes, 37 days, 1 hour, 57 minutes, and 40 seconds, Tyler.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. We talked to her, and she had some amazing things. They've got breakout discussions and panel discussions. They're doing referee training, glow in the dark. They said that they actually switched it up. They listened to you guys. They listened to all of you that went.
Yep.
And they switched it up from last year, where essentially you get to walk through the. Last year, I guess the vendors and the courts were very separated. Mm-hmm. This year, they're right on top of each other in the sense that like the vendors are there, the courts are there. Everything is a lot more cohesive, we'll say. And it's ran by Triple Crown Sports, just really good people that have run a lot of events, and it's going to be amazing.
Picklecon. I love the name.
Yes.
I think they're going to have a lot of success this year. They have improved a lot from year one. And so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Speaking at Picklecon?
Jimmy Miller?
No.
James Miller?
Our guy.
Which one?
Angel Morales.
Nice. Angel.
Angel is speaking at Picklecon.
Nice. We like Angel.
Yeah.
Okay. So go sign up. They have so many different activities. And also, King of the Court, KOTC has a special code for all PPA and MLP tournaments. I cannot tell you how many people came up to me. Actually, I probably could. It was probably 10 to 20. But there were a lot of people that came up to me and Jimmy this last week and said, hey, we got in with your code. You saved us $50 to $100, all the way up to $500 for these tickets this week.
Yeah, I actually had somebody.
So real savings, real money, real savings.
I had someone tell me that they walked up and they used a bunch of different codes.
Oh, yeah.
And they kept trying them, and then they used KOTC.
I don't think they wanted to use ours, but they kept trying other codes, and ours was the best.
Ours was the best, yeah. And so they ended up using ours and
reluctantly
saved a ton of money. So KOTC New York is coming up.
Yep.
Use our code. Also BCO, Salt Lake. All of you local Salt Lakeans, Utahns, use our code KOTC.
Also, we have a Cameo. We are on Cameo. So if you want a personalized video, if you want to see Jimmy without his hat, if you want to see anything crazy.
I love a good Cameo.
Send us a request and we will get that fulfilled for you.
Did we get a high rating on our last one?
We have had a couple requests and every single one of them have loved it so much.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. So both of us, shockingly, were at MLP this last week. We had MLP San Clemente. The week before that was PPA San Clemente, so it was back-to-back weeks in beautiful, sunny San Clemente, California.
Yeah.
Jimmy, we have so many headlines, but let's get started with Challenger, and then we'll get into the big elephant in the room, which is Jeannie and Jesse.
Jeannie versus Jesse. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, so Challenger started on Thursday. Okay. There were no premier teams playing Thursday. We actually kicked off San Clemente. The California Black Bears took on Travis Rettenmeyer and the Florida Smash. Michael Lloyd's debut. Mm-hmm. And we pulled out the 3-1 win, Tyler. Big 3-1 win. Our women lost one match the whole weekend, which is incredible. They continue to really play well. Lena and Lane are spectacular. Our men are still trying to work on things, but they're getting better. We have two left side guys, and they're trying to figure out who's better.
Sounds like Rafa could fit in that right side role, or even myself.
You could, yes. But Rafa, we've tried that. We've been down that road. Rafa, we're going to talk about Rafa. Rafa had a great weekend.
Okay.
He should be very happy. That was a big win. In Challenger, heavy favorite is Vegas. I think that most people...
They're undefeated up till now.
They were undefeated going into this.
Oh, they lost.
They did end up losing.
2 chefs?
They lost to the DC Pickleball team in a Dream Breaker.
Yep.
So, we ended up playing Vegas. They smacked us around a little bit. Wasn't our best. But Florida, this is what's crazy, is everybody is beating everybody else up in Challenger. So, Nashville ended up losing to Florida, who we beat Florida 3-1. We ended up losing to Vegas. And then Florida ends up beating DC too, which is a good win. But then we lose to Nashville, who lost to Florida. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just crazy. Everyone's kind of beating everyone up, except for Vegas was kind of rolling until Saturday. Saturday got really exciting. So we played DC, and we got cooped, Tyler. We got cooped. We went
Nation, rise up.
Our women won. Our men lost. Lina and Juan came back from, I think, 7-1, 8-1.
Okay.
And ended up winning. We go to Dream Breaker. We had maybe one of the craziest Dream Breakers you've ever seen. So Michael Lloyd went against Stefan Auvergne. Mm-hmm. And I think Stefan went 10-2. Okay. Might have been 11-1. Okay. Then our second person out was Juan Benitez versus Daniel De La Rosa. Mm-hmm. I think Juan went the same score against Daniel De La Rosa. Dominated it. 11-1, something like that. Then Coop comes out versus Lina. Mm-hmm. And Coop goes 12-0 versus Lina.
Okay.
And then Lane Sleeth comes out versus Krista Getcheva. And she goes 12-0 versus Getcheva. Uh-huh. It was I've never seen anything like it. There wasn't a lot of splits going on. They ended up pulling it out 23-21 in the end.
Real quick, are you sick?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Is
that why you're wearing the double shirt again? Were you doing yard work?
Stop it.
This white shirt is another 1 inch, 2 inches too long. Oh my
Look
gosh.
at your sleeves. You're wearing like the longest sleeves I've ever seen.
Maybe you should be wearing this then. We
can't
can't have that, Jimmy.
I can't help that.
The fashion police is here. You can't have an undergarment 5 inches longer than your t-shirt.
Tyler, your sleeves are all the way down to your wrists.
Maybe you should do that.
I should.
We can't have that anymore.
Or maybe I just have guns.
We can't have that anymore.
Look at that.
We can't have that anymore.
It's gone. All right, moving on. So, where was I? Oh, yes. So, anyways, we ended up losing in a Dream Breaker. So then DC plays another Dream Breaker against Vegas. DC actually they lost women's and men's, and then won both mixed. And Coop again.
Coopy Nation.
Balls out. They win 21-15. Vegas' first loss. And we finished the tournament playing Bay Area. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is.
That was a great match. I was there.
It was a great match. I am not sure we've lost to Bay Area in like the last probably 6 events. I don't know what it is.
Their ownership isn't that great, right?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Even dating back to last year, we haven't lost to them when we were bad.
I was talking to one of the owners, and he says, I hear your voice every day. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he says his wife listens to the pod in their house.
Mercado?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Mimi. Shout out to Mimi. So we end up winning men's and women's. Then we lose both mixed. Get into that Dream Breaker. You were there, Tyler. It was a battle back and forth.
It was. I thought you guys were going to win 3-1, though, in regulation.
I did, too. Angie Walker ended up at 21-21, ended up missing a ball wide. Lane Sleeth, Tyler, was spectacular in that Dream Breaker.
Yeah.
She was incredible. So, yeah, we pulled it out. Everyone's kind of beating everybody up in Challenger. It's fairly close, other than there's still a pretty big lead for obviously Vegas. They're gonna be tough to beat. I don't know if anyone can catch them, but
I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but every team makes the playoffs.
Every team makes a playoff. But if you look at the records, right? Vegas is 9-1, and then it goes 6-4, 5-5, 4-6, 3-7.
So, are you ready to admit that Jared Paul is a better GM coach than you?
No, we have a long ways to go. We played 2 events.
Okay.
We have a long way, and we're 1-1 versus them.
Okay, I like it.
We got a long ways to go. So let's go to Premier. Real
quick, let's give a big shout out to our next sponsor, which is C&D Pickleball Nets. We love them. They have a new, more economical, incredible net called the Challenger net.
Yeah.
It retails at $15.99, and you use our code KOTC. It saves even more money. We talk about them every single time. They are the best nets out there. Get them for your court. It will elevate your experience, and you will enjoy pickleball even more, which is hard to believe.
Yeah, the nets that were used in MLP this week, they had a very, very thin cord across the top. Very thin, like dental floss thin, and not a lot of balls bounced back. There were a lot of net cords, and the majority of the net cords, I would say a good 80+%, would trickled over. And it really starts to affect gameplay after a while. C&D's got that thicker cord. It's tighter. And the balls, you don't get those. You're going to get some, right? But you don't get as many cheap points.
Yeah.
So check out C&D, the best pickleball nets.
The best pickleball nets, hands down. Thank you for the support. They've been with us from the very beginning, and so we'd love to support them.
Yes.
All right, bestpickleballnets.com is the website. Use code KOTC on all of their products.
Yes. All right, let's get into it. Jeannie Bouchard versus Jesse Irvin. I think we need to have a little bit of background.
Yeah,
okay?
Give us the entire story.
So look, Phoenix has a bit of a strategy going into MLP. That strategy is...
For those that don't know, Jeannie Bouchard, she was a very famous tennis player. She was top 10 in the world.
Yeah.
She's Canadian.
She got hurt at the U.S. Open,
Slipped in the locker room. Ended up suing, and essentially made enough money where she didn't have to play tennis anymore. Something like that, yep.
Yeah. So, but she was a Wimbledon finalist at one time. She was a very high-level tennis player. Millions of followers on Instagram. She actually got famous. She made like a Super Bowl bet with a guy once, and he said if it was the Falcons Patriots when the Falcons came back, or the Patriots came back down 28-3, and he made a bet and said if the Patriots come back when they're down 28-3, he said, will you go on a date with me?
Yep.
She said yes, and she actually did go on a date with him, and I believe they even hung out for a while.
I think it went well.
I believe that they actually hung out for a while. So anyways, Jeannie's all over. So Phoenix has this idea. They're like, look, we're going to put together a team. We may not be the best team, but we are going to be the most watched team because we have Jeannie, we have Jack Sock, we have Tyson McGuffin, and their one holdover was Jessie Irvin. Jessie, as we know, is 35 years old. She's been playing pickleball for probably as long as you.
Yeah. I think she's 36.
36,
Yeah.
okay. She's a veteran of the sport. She takes it very, very serious, as she should. And, this team feels like a little bit, of a spectacle, so to speak. Not that Tyson doesn't take it serious, not that Jack and Jeannie don't, but it's different. So it feels like a little bit of a spectacle. It feels like the team was put together to get eyeballs on it. Okay, so there's been a lot of kind of bickering back and forth. Jessie very much likes to play the left. Jeannie cannot play the right. Almost refuses to play the right. So they're warming up before a match. This was the day before the big incident happened. They're warming up. Jessie goes for a ball, hip checks Jeannie off the court. Kind of runs into her. I don't know if you guys have seen the Riley and Elise video. Kind of runs her off the court. Jeannie gets upset. They get in a little bit of an argument. Jessie basically, I guess, makes some comment saying, you fly in the day of the matches, because she actually flies in the day of. You missed the match because you had jet lag. I'm here training. I'm here working hard. Like I don't care. I don't have to apologize to you. I hear that their owner stepped in and he asked Jessie to apologize. She still refused. So the next day, they're warming up. Literally, this is right before their match. And Jeannie is talking during a point, right? And
they're warming up with their own team.
With their own team, yeah. I believe her and Jack were talking to each other. Jessie tells Jeannie not to talk during a point. Jeannie says, you're kidding. And Jessie says, you know what? I don't have to effing play with you. And she grabs her stuff and she leaves. Doesn't just leave the practice court. She leaves the venue, Tyler. She goes home. She took her ball and she went home. Allegedly, we were told that Jeannie made a comment about how Jessie doesn't even have a platform or a following, and that Jeannie's platform and following is massive, and basically something along the lines of like, she could destroy her with her platform, something along those lines. So Jeannie ends up playing with Alex Walker. Jessie went home. They didn't play.
And Alex is their
sub.
Sub, their third alternate.
Exactly. So the next day, the lineups get set. And the lineups are Jeannie and Alex for the first game match, and Jessie and Alex for the second match. So obviously no more Jeannie and Jessie together. But here's where it gets crazy. Jeannie is sitting there on the sideline, and she wraps herself up completely in towels.
The sun was strong.
Which was wild, number one. Number two, there's pictures of her like staying away from the bench. And then on the flip side, Jessie is being like the ultimate teammate all of a sudden. She's being loud. It's almost like when Colin got caught talking shit about Caitlin Christian. He all of a sudden became super teammate. So same thing. She starts like being super teammate. And so, yeah, we don't know what's going to happen with Phoenix going forward. I imagine that they are not going to play together anymore.
Okay.
It wouldn't shock me if Jessie is traded. I mean, Carolina could be a decent spot.
We've seen that story before.
Yeah, we have.
Well,
but Jessie and Etta might be okay with Ben and Roscoe or Ben and Martin.
All right, so now that the story's out there, what are your thoughts on all of it? Is that valid? Who is in the wrong?
Yeah.
Who is in the right?
Yeah, I see both sides of it. Look, if I'm Jessie and I'm grinding and I'm working hard and I'm doing all these things, yeah, I think it's, the reality of it is Jeannie's making 10 times as much money as her, and she's probably a tenth of the player, right? And you're flying in day of, you're not playing because you have jet lag. If you're grinding it out and you're going to be there like Jessie, and you feel like you're playing with someone that's not taking it serious, then yeah, I would be pissed off at her. With that being said, if I bump somebody off the court, right, because I'm a little overzealous, I just think that would probably warrant an apology. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I think they both got catty in the end, but I understand Jesse's frustration.
Yeah.
Jeannie talking about her followers and her platform is funny to me. That's like the most Mean Girls thing I've ever heard. So yeah, I think it's pretty hilarious. But to me personally, I like that Jessie cares. I like that Jessie is upset because she wants to freaking win. But you know who the biggest winner in this whole thing is?
Everybody.
Well, yes, us as fans, but Alex Walker.
Yeah.
Because she's playing every match now.
Yeah.
She gets to play every single match. And Alex has actually played pretty well.
Mm-hmm. They beat Mad Drops for Jessie.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Jessie was well rested in that match. Yeah. Right? Yeah, they went to a Dream Breaker with the Mad Drops, right?
Yeah.
And they ended up, I mean, yeah, they're really good. I mean, I think Jessie is better than Jeannie. Mm-hmm. So the team is better when they have Jessie playing well.
I would agree. Pretty similar, aligned with your thoughts. One thing that I don't think a lot of people have really talked about, but I actually think it might be more of an internal issue with the team rather than trying to get the league involved or anything like that. And then the other thing that I was thinking about is I do understand both sides. I do. But this MLP, it's a team sport.
It is.
I have been on many teams. I've had partners where I do not like, I don't get along, but you still need to compete. You still need to try. You still need to show effort. And so that's one thing, as you've talked about multiple times, it's a little bit similar to the Ben and Colin situation where maybe they weren't given their full effort, and people were getting mad at them. And so there's a lot of similarities in these situations, but as you said, if you want to do an individual sport, which pickleball kind of is, do singles, do tennis singles. Don't do these team sports, basketball, football. Those are team sports. You're not always going to like every single member on your team.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to get along with all of your teammates. And you know what? You guys are all cashing the MLP checks, so you might as well step up and play, right? You know, I mean, at the end of the day, look, there's players, there's the Brashas. There are, and I'm not saying that they opted out because they don't like team sports, but there's Matt and Lucy, there's Julian and Lauren, who opted out of MLP. Maybe their contracts were a little bit different, and some players feel maybe forced to play it. Mm-hmm. And other players maybe would prefer MLP because of how many.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky situation because that there was I think it was fake news, but this one guy that the Utah Jazz just drafted. What's the name? Ace
Bailey, yeah.
Yeah, so there were a bunch of reports that said, he didn't want to go to Utah, but then more reports came out later saying that those were false. And it's like, should he have this bad attitude when he's here in Utah, even though he's cashing these massive, massive checks?
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of how I feel. Like, you don't get to dictate that. Like, you have done nothing to, dictate where you go at this point, right?
I can't remember if I asked this, but what are your thoughts? What do you think how Jack and Tyson feel?
So I will say this. A lot of people get after Jack, right? And they get after Jack for, they don't think he takes it serious. Mm-hmm. And they don't think he's trying. And there's a lot of things that I've heard, on that front, right? And we see him laughing and joking on the court. And I think that that's more of his demeanor. Mm-hmm. But we also see him getting upset when people say, you're 200 or you're 20.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right. And he gets upset, which tells me he's got a little competition in him, competitive. So I talked to Jack during our match with the Breakers at the beginning, and because Roddy was playing and Roddy's his boy. And we talked about the Connor Garnett match when Connor was up 9-2 and 10-0 or he was up 9-2 and 10-0 and lost. And he said straight up, I have a goal of getting to number one singles player in the world. Mm-hmm. And that freaking was hard. That sucked. He's like, I was upset. I was mad. So I think he does care. But I think that when Jack is one of those guys where if he pretends not to care, it's easier to explain why he's not playing well.
100%.
right? It's easier for him. He doesn't look as bad if he's pretending not to care. And I think we see that from him. And I do think he likes to have a good time, and I think he likes to be loose, and that stuff's important. But I also think that it's easier to have the built-in excuse of, I didn't lose sleep over it if he's not playing well.
For sure.
Just my thoughts, but yeah.
And that's another thing that, as I said, I understand both sides with the Jeannie and Jesse, but maybe that's why Jeannie hasn't taken it serious, because she was a top 10 player in the world in tennis, and now she comes over and she hasn't been able to have hardly any success. And so that's why she doesn't train. It's because she feels like if I do train and I'm not good, then that looks really silly.
I don't disagree, but then don't cash the paycheck.
Yeah.
Right?
Everybody wants money, though.
Yeah, but then don't cash the paycheck if you're not going to put forth the effort.
Yeah.
And honestly, the thing is these new contracts are coming, and if Jeannie and Jack are going to be subject to these new contracts, right, then, Jeannie made $4,000 last year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that'll be another interesting situation.
So what goes on the clipboard against the Flames next time they play? What should we get?
Yeah, I feel like you definitely need something. There's got to be something that's kind of funny about, them not being able to handle their team, right?
Yeah.
I did see the one with you on it.
That was good, yeah.
On a tricycle with like bandages.
That was pretty funny.
That was good.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about...
I asked Brant, I said, how are you feeling about all this? He said, all I care about is my clipboard.
Yeah, it's great. Brant was there at 8:30 in the morning.
Blowing his whistle?
Before, he went and got a microphone, and Liv Borski played singles against Zach, who runs the events. And they played singles together against each other. And it was like Brant and just a couple of MLP people, and Brant got the microphone out and was like...
At 8:30 in the morning?
At 8:30 in the morning, yeah. It was kind of funny. So
I saw Charles when all this was going down, and he said, give me an hour and a half. I'll have an official statement for you. He never did, though.
Yeah. So let's talk super subs.
Okay.
So Deckel is still sick. I don't know what it is. I don't know what...
Sounds pretty serious. He's been out 3-4 weeks now.
Yeah, several weeks. Riley, we know, has some sort of torn hip or knee or
labrum,
groin or something. So Riley's injured. Mm-hmm. Pat Smith got sick.
Had pneumonia.
Yeah. Never even made it to San Clemente.
Hey, he was number 1 on the win-loss record. I think he wants to keep it that way.
Yeah.
That's smart.
So they go pick up ultimate super sub, AJ Kohler, who has enough jerseys now literally to make a blanket. I hope that Megan takes all his jerseys and sews them together for a blanket for him.
Okay.
And then they go get Rafa Hewitt. Rafa was, we traded him to the Texas Ranchers, and the Ranchers ended up cutting him for Wyatt Stone, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so Rafa gets a chance. He gets his chance in Premier, right? He always felt like he was a Premier player. He gets his chance. Rafa and AJ had a really good weekend.
Yeah. Yep.
So they end up, I would say their biggest win, they beat the Mad Drops 3-1. Rafa and AJ beat Kwong and Hunter. And then AJ and Rachel actually ended up beating Kwong and Catherine in mixed, which I think was a huge weekend for them.
Okay.
They both played very, very well. I think Brooklyn, their only loss was to you guys. They lost to you in a Dream Breaker, correct?
They beat Columbus. Did they play Columbus?
I think they.
I don't think they would have beaten Columbus.
I think they. Let's see. They beat the Mad Drops the first day. All right, here we go. Saturday.
Maybe they don't play them.
They might not have played Columbus.
Yeah.
I don't remember them playing Columbus. I feel like we would have seen the... Yeah, Mad Drops beat Columbus. Yeah, they didn't play Columbus, but they did lose to you guys.
Yep.
In a Dream Breaker. So Connor and Elise beat Rafa and Jackie. Mm-hmm. You and Connor beat Rafa and AJ. Mm-hmm. Their women won, and then Rachel and AJ beat you and Jeannie.
Yes.
And then in the Dream Breaker, it was a battle back and forth.
Yeah, that one was actually pretty surprising. We got off to a not a great start.
I felt like Rafa played pretty well.
Yeah.
Versus Connor.
Yeah, they kind of alternated. I think Connor started off well, and then Rafa came back, and then Connor kind of cleaned it up, or vice versa.
Yeah, and they end up, you guys end up pulling it out 21-19.
Yes.
Because on paper, I feel like you guys should be, I think Connor obviously is the number one player there. I would probably say that you're the number two player. Right?
In singles or in overall?
I'm just saying in the Dream Breaker.
Okay.
If you had to rank the Dream Breaker players.
I mean, Rafa's tricky because he can get so hot.
He could. I think Rafa's, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And then, AJ plays some singles, but he's never had like a ton of success in singles. Rachel's pretty solid. Jackie's, for the 4 spot, Jackie's always solid. And then Jeannie, it just depends with Jeannie.
Yeah.
She's long, but like Jeannie was on our team when we played Atlanta. And we were up 20-9, and we freaking lost.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a good win. I mean, that was a good win, especially because you guys had just lost to SoCal.
Yes, yep.
Who was probably the worst team there.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Fu. Somebody tagged me in a post. Let me just be clear about this real quick. Someone tagged me in the post. They're like, what do you got to say now about Ryan Fu? I got to say that Ryan Fu is 7-31 so far in MLP. Does he have his moments? Yes. Like, I don't think he's a pro player. Of course he's good.
Yeah.
Like
Ava Gnadowicz?
I mean, Ava admitted she wasn't good. Did you see that? Sent out a tweet. Said she's not very good. But Ryan Fu, yeah, he's good. He's a pro player. Of course he's good. I'm just saying, all things considered, his pickleball IQ is literally 0. Like the stuff that dude does, and like the pulls and the speed ups and the it's just like, honestly, like it's like watching he already has CTE or something. It's incredible.
Anything else?
No, I'm just saying, like, yeah. So let's go to the standings real quick.
Okay.
Because there were good matches. Obviously, we kind of talked about them a little bit. Dallas still has a pretty big lead. St. Louis. The Mad Drops have, now if you go by points per match, the Mad Drops are in 6th.
Okay.
They've been kind of battling
But
Columbus.
they just go for overall points, right?
At the end of the season, it goes for overall points. But the way to determine it, since not everybody's played the same amount of matches, is to go points per match.
Gotcha.
So right now, Brooklyn is actually in 4th.
Okay.
Columbus, LA, and Brooklyn are all kind of very close. Mm-hmm. And the Ranchers, 1.93. So I think obviously we'll see a battle there. I think you guys have actually gone really exceeded expectations and probably locked up a playoff spot. How does that make you feel?
Good. Yeah, 2 wins was good, but they were both in Dream Breakers. Had we gotten 3, that would have been really good, but 2 was still, I'm pretty happy with that.
You feel pretty good about it, right? I mean, you got a pretty good lead over Miami.
Yeah.
Miami and Chicago have an outside shot.
There's no way that Carolina can make it, right? The Hogs, even with their trades.
So I read...
They'd have to win every single match, right?
So I talked to our guy, Eric Tice. Uh-huh. It's 2... He's projecting that they would need 2.5 points per match.
Okay, so that's winning in regulation.
That's winning most of their matches in regulation. Yeah. They could take maybe...
a couple in Dream Breaker.
A couple Dream Breaker, maybe a Dream Breaker loss or 2, but... yeah, they essentially would have to almost win out.
Yeah.
So, I don't think Carolina can make it at this point. I think it would take a miracle. Now, if Ben does it, if anyone can do it, it's Ben. But we'll see how much effort we get out of him, right? They could definitely make some noise, though. I mean, they could go win BCO.
Yeah.
Which would be interesting. So, yeah. So, New York's coming up. You are not playing in that?
Yeah,
Your
New York,
team.
Yep.
The Black Bears are.
Okay.
We're in the middle of a...
So, yeah, the Challenger teams,
it's
interesting. They have an interesting schedule. They have 5 weeks that are just back to back to back to back. They're playing the same teams. It's essentially a round robin. I know some of the teams are maybe not the most thrilled about that, but it kind of is what it is. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So
we actually don't play on the 3rd.
Okay.
We don't play till the 4th. We start with DC on the 4th. and then we actually only play one match on the 4th.
Okay.
And then the 5th, I believe we play 2 on the 5th and 2 on the 6th.
Okay. Real quick, we kind of talked about him a little bit earlier. Jack Sock.
Jack Sock.
He's charismatic. He's grumpy. He's ornery at times. He gets mad. You love it. You hate it. Whatever. There was a couple matches where he was pretty, I don't know what the word is, just very into it and maybe a little bit frustrated with some of his opponents.
Yeah.
And he was kind of getting into it with, I think, Blaine Hovenier. He tried to nasty him. He tried to kind of hit him on some of the speed ups.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before, but what are your thoughts on that? All okay, or is there a line being crossed?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of video out there. Like I said, Jack is he got into it with Bobby, Rachel's boyfriend, which who doesn't? Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, I went and watched Sunday morning. I went and watched Brooklyn. It's the only match going on. It was Brooklyn versus SoCal, I think. Mm-hmm. And Bobby didn't say a word. But there was a net cord in Jack's match versus it was Phoenix versus Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. And Jack's like, I heard it. And they start arguing back and forth. And then Bobby's making comments. And Jack says, there's a reason you're sitting over there. Mm-hmm. And they start like going at each other. And like you said, Jack and Blaine and Jack and yeah, like it's a little bit wild that, he's had so many kind of like, I think he likes to chirp, but I also think that it's starting to wear on him a little bit. I think the frustration is mounting that he's not as good as he thought he would be. Mm-hmm. And it's taking him longer, to get where he thought he would be by now. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, pickleball is no joke. We've talked about this. This is not a joke. There's that dipshit I've told you about online that 3 years ago was saying, wait till the D1 tennis players. The only D1 tennis player and the only real D1 tennis player in pickleball is Matt Wright. Mm-hmm. That's what this guy said. And he's like, and look what Matt Wright's doing at 44 years old. Mm-hmm. He's dominating this is when him and Riley were making their big runs, him and Ben. And he's like, wait till the D1 tennis players come and Ben's run is over. Well, they're here. Mm-hmm. Not just D1, but now we have pros. Right? And what's happening?
What we expected.
Yeah. When's the last time we've had a really young, good player break through and get to the top?
Yeah. Consistently too. Not only 1 or 2 tournaments, but consistently.
Yeah. Obviously Christian's done it, Hayden, but they were on tour for a while.
They've been playing for a while. Christian's been playing 5 years.
Yeah. They've been playing for a while. It's a grind. And I think that's what people are not understanding. Pickleball is hard. It's hard, and you get these trolls online that are like, "Oh, it's for old people," and blah blah blah. But we have two of the top tennis players in the world in Sam and Jack. Mm-hmm. Donald Young was no slouch himself. Jeannie Bouchard was no slouch, and they are not even top 50 pickleball players right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, Jack in singles, yes, but the other three, I mean, it's tough, and there's plenty of D1 guys that have come over and not had success. I mean, Ryan Fu is 8-31 in MLP or 7-31. I just said Ryan Fu was a high-level tennis player. Mm-hmm. I think that Jack is just getting frustrated, and his frustration is starting to come out on the court. And I think that people also know that if they chirp at him, mm-hmm. it messes with his game. So, yeah.
The only thing I would say in defense of that is most people that I'm aware of, they're not starting it. They're not initiating it towards Jack.
Yeah.
They're almost, and even when Jack does it to them, they're not really responding.
No, dude, look, if you're upset with Blaine Hovenier, that's on you, because Blaine is just talking to talk, right? Blaine just talks to get himself fired up.
Here, right now.
Yeah. I've never go Stangs. I've never heard Blaine chirp at an opponent directly.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, he's all day like bow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just is talking. He's just talking. That's just what he needs to do. And I heard him, he said, if I'm awake, I'm talking. I'm screaming. I'm talking. And yeah, it might get annoying for an opponent, but he's not being malicious.
Yes, not at all. Yeah, not at all.
Bro, bring that energy. We need more of that energy.
Yeah. Okay, anything else? Anything on your mind? Any other matchups that you saw that you wanted to discuss? Or
no, I mean, I think, like I said, I think Rafa and AJ played really well, all things considered. Tyler, to be honest, I didn't think you should play. Mm-hmm. more because I'm your friend, and I didn't think that it was worth risking additional injury.
Okay.
But I didn't know how effective you would be, and I thought you played very, very well.
Thank you.
So yeah, I thought that was really impressive. Yates did play one match for you guys.
Yep.
And he got smacked. But I mean, that was against Columbus, who's a very, very good team.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that you played really well. I did see Hunter and Paris. Their teams faced off.
They did, yeah.
Hunter, as usual, did nothing in men's, didn't do much in mixed, and then in the Dream Breaker, he's just a freaking animal.
They're a tough Dream Breaker team. They might be the best Dream Breaker team.
I mean, I think you would have to argue that they are. I mean, they beat Phoenix. We talked about Phoenix taking him to Dream Breaker. Mm-hmm. They beat Phoenix 21-6. Mm-hmm. Phoenix has good singles players on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they beat Columbus in the Dream Breaker. Yeah, they're good. I mean, when you can throw out Hunter, who's arguably the number one singles player in the world. Mm-hmm. You can throw out Kwong, who any moment he's top, right? Catherine has been number 2 for a really long time in women's. And then Jade might be the best number 4 single. I mean, Jade split with Leia.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you can ask for. So yeah, I think that they're, for top to bottom, they're very, very good. Now, I think Columbus is very good as well. I think their women are really good. And CJ and Andre are underrated. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it made for a great battle.
Yeah. All right, real quick, we got to give a big shout out to our next sponsor, which is Vulcan Pickleball. Jimmy,
Vulcan.
What is Vulcan?
Vulcan V-Pro Flight.
The official ball
of pickleball. Check out Vulcan. I mean, they are doing some amazing things. There's a little bit of a buzz, I heard, at MLP San Clemente about this prototype paddle that they're having some people hit.
Yes.
It was...
I heard Vulcan tried to pull a fast one. And
yeah, they tried to maybe get it tested. I don't know who did that. Some little kid, I heard. But
some kid.
But there's a little bit of buzz about stuff that they have in the works. I saw a backpack floating around that was incredible.
Yeah.
There's a new everything about Vulcan that's coming, that's refreshed, it's sexy, it's up to date on technology. And yeah, I think that there's a lot of
Jimmy knows a lot.
Things.
He's very well connected with the Vulcan now, so he knows all the good products coming out. And so trust us when we say the future is bright for Vulcan and also pickleball. We mean it. We're being truthful. They have some very exciting new products coming out, I would say, within the next 1 to 2 months or so.
Yeah, and even more importantly, the ball is here and it's ready. And the V-Pro Flight is an incredible ball as well.
If you guys need to order 3 balls, 10 balls, 50 balls, 100 balls, reach out to this guy right here. He'll get you taken care of.
Maybe 100 or more, but also KOTC code works, so check it out. VulcanPickleball.com.
All right. Also, we have our next sponsor, which is Holey Performance. We love Holey.
Yes.
They make the best product, keeps you hydrated out there. San Clemente, everybody was sweating. Oh my gosh.
Hot.
I'm not going to say which player, but you guys could probably imagine. We were doing some practice games with him.
Scarpa.
We switched sides. The entire court is just drenched.
Poor Scarpa.
How many nutrients is that guy losing with the sweat?
He needs some Holey.
Like, if you're not replenishing those, and this is what Holey does, is they replenish those nutrients that you lose through sweat, through your fluids, everything like that, and it keeps you healthy, it keeps you in shape, it keeps you hydrated.
Keeps your endurance up. Like so many things. Like when you start to lose those nutrients and you start to get dehydrated, you lose energy with it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge.
HoleyPerformance.com, use code KOTC. We have an exclusive, a limited white gummy flavor with them. Everybody loves it. If you don't, then I feel sorry for you.
Something's wrong with you.
Yep, exactly. Anything else, Jimmy, before we get into questions?
No, I'm excited. Let's get into questions. I got a lot of them, and they're all about Jeannie and Jesse.
Yeah, so sometimes I preview them. I glance at a couple of them, and most of them were already about that. Yeah. So we'll see if we've already answered most of them. Okay. What does the Etta trade mean for Texas now acquiring Caitlin Christian? I think it's just a straight-up trade, right?
Yeah, there was a little cash.
I mean, there was cash, but...
There was cash, yeah. Like I said, I think the Ranchers are looking at getting... I mean, look, we saw how many Dream Breakers this weekend, right? And I think that's the Ranchers' goal. Go 2-2, build one of the best Dream Breaker teams. And And they feel like they have a better Dream Breaker team with Caitlin over Etta.
Okay. They said, does Jimmy know what happened between Jesse and Jeannie? We discussed this.
Yeah. Hot girl summer came to a screeching halt.
Do you want to read that one?
No. I just don't want to touch it. I do know, but it's like one party just is trying to let it die.
Okay. What percentage of fans at events are friends, family, sponsors of the players versus hardcore pickleball fans? I would say, in my experience, in the beginning, maybe 2-3 years ago, a ton of it was fans, players, family, everything like that. But now you're starting to see true fans show up.
Totally.
And for example, this last weekend, there were no amateur events at MLP, and the stands were still full.
Yeah, I thought that the fans showed out, and for considering it was back-to-back a PPA, right? No amateur events. Yep. The stands looked good. There was one moment, like I think it was Saturday night, right? Like after the afternoon matches, people left, but Sunday was wild. Sunday was full both sides.
Yep.
That's the other thing that people don't know is the camera's only pointing to one side. Mm-hmm. San Clemente had two sides, a VIP tent, and they had box seats, and all of it was full on Sunday.
Yep. So for MLP, I would say 80% are true fans.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Like
for PPA, it's probably 60% because you have a lot of players there. But MLP, it's
By the way, I think
fans.
I drank my weight, and that's saying a lot in that coconut water.
That coconut water, once upon a coconut.
Yeah,
we love it.
It's so good.
We're talking with them. We might be able to work something out.
Yeah, just send me a case.
Yeah,
I'll be good with that probably.
Okay, let's get on. Okay, I feel like this is directed towards me. They said, would you rather be in Challenger and start or Premier and sitting on the bench?
It's actually a really good question because there's rumors right now of a Challenger trade happening.
Do I know about this?
No, I'll tell you after. I don't know if it's going to happen, but yeah, would you rather be that guy that is, say...
Oh, I think you mentioned it.
Be the guy that is, say, like a super sub.
Yeah.
Or the guy that gets to play, he gets called on and gets to play a lot. But you never know if you are going to actually play. Or would you rather be on a Challenger team? Mm-hmm.
Michael Lloyd.
Yeah.
Perfect example. He was on the bench with Ranchers, and now he's starting.
Yeah. Krista Getcheva said that she much rather would play Challenger. Okay. Angie Walker, both of them. They were happier playing Challenger because they're playing.
Okay. Does Jimmy know more about Kate Fahey and why she left Pro XR?
Yeah, so I heard, that obviously these are rumors, but I heard that Kate Fahey's agent screwed up the deal. And that not only did she screw up the deal, but they didn't, like she had agreed to, this is what I heard. She had agreed to a deal with Pro XR. They hadn't dotted the I's and crossed the T's yet, but her agent's like, yeah, you're good. Start playing with a paddle. So they kind of were a little bit premature. And then when the actual numbers came down to it, they weren't what the agent had promised Kate, and it ended up being kind of a whole mess. And so, yeah, Kate backed out, kind of left Pro XR. I don't know if she will go back to paddle or to Yola or what she will do.
Hasn't she been using them for quite some time, though?
She has, and that's why. Do you remember during Tour Wars where Dylan and J-Dub signed an LOI but didn't actually sign the contract?
Yeah.
It sounds like it was something similar to that.
But was it like a short term and then they were going to agree on something further, or was she not getting paid?
No, I think that she was it sounds like maybe that her agent was like, you're good, I'm working on it, let's just move forward and not waste time.
Huh.
And then her agent
I thought she's been with them for at least 6 months.
She has been, yeah.
So was she not getting paid by them?
She must not have. That might have been part of it, is that her agent never closed the deal. So, yeah. So that agent, I've heard, was also Annalie's agent and has been fired by both of them.
Gotcha.
So I was told that billboard was in Times Square for AL was like the new agents. Like,
and it was within,
was like the welcome to our agency.
Yeah.
So.
All right, Tyler, do you realistically believe you can win MLP with your team? Yes or no? I think anything is possible.
Yeah, why not? You just beat Brooklyn. That's a really good team.
We beat the Fives. Come on.
You beat the Fives. That's a really good team. That's the number 3 team.
I think MLP is so up and down. If any team gets hot, I mean, I don't want to throw shade on them, but the Hard Eights, they don't have the best record right now, and we lost to them.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's what, like, I was interviewed mid-match. I think it was against Florida. I was interviewed mid-match, and that's exactly what I said. I was like, look, you got to get hot in August. You got to get hot for 3 days in August. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? And anybody can do that, and you just never know what's going to happen. And like, nobody's trying to be the best team. I mean, you always want to be the best team, but nobody's trying to be the best team, on June 30th.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that doesn't get you anything. You don't get a prize for being the best team on June 30th. You don't get a prize for having the best record at the All-Star break.
Yeah. I think me and Connor, despite this last week, it wasn't the best. I think we're a pretty tough team. And then Connor and Elise have had a decent amount of success as well. And so if we can get those 2 matches, that's 2 right there. And then if we can get 1 more or push it to a dream breaker, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah. How many premier teams could Las Vegas beat?
I think that Vegas's weakness would be James Delgado. However, he played really well this weekend. He seems to be getting better. But I mean, look, their women's team would probably be right in the middle of the pack of Premier. Their men's team would be the bottom. I feel like they'd be more of the bottom. But yeah, I think Vegas could beat SoCal. I think Vegas could beat anyone could beat the Hustlers. Could beat the Hustlers. I think that they could hang with probably Miami. I don't think they would beat Miami every time. But yeah, I think that Vegas would probably be, what is there? How many premier teams are there?
16?
16 now? Yeah, I think Vegas would probably be like in that
13, 14.
13, 14 range, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Leo Chun says, when is the next KOTC bike trip?
Tell Leo to take the training wheels off and come with us.
All right. Not a fan of drama being shared live on the broadcast. Prefer it through social media and pods. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Mish, she kind of just said what happened with Jeannie and Jesse.
Well, I think that's more like information that needs to be out there.
Yeah,
like,
I kind of just nipping it at the bud.
Well, I mean, the question is going to be, where's Jesse?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and she was vague. I mean, she just said there was a disagreement, and she left.
And Jesse walked out.
Yeah. Thoughts on Blaine and his attitude towards MLP? How is he so energetic on a bad team?
Yeah, that guy's got to be freaking hyped up on caffeine all the time. But look, I love it. Like, I love that.
I think that's great.
I do too.
I think that's great.
And he like I said,
I have zero issue with that. People think I have an issue with like people talking. No, it's not that. I love energetic when it's
Blaine's awesome.
Yeah.
And also Irina. So for those that don't know, go watch a SoCal match and try to sit near Irina and watch how Irina just eggs Blaine on.
Yeah.
She just eggs him on to get him going louder and louder and louder. It's hilarious.
Since BPJ, James Ignatowicz, made top 8 in all 3 categories, is he a top 8 male?
He's close. He's probably 8.
Okay. Is QD overrated? He hasn't done anything in mixed and only won with Alshon last year.
No, I just think that QD's style right now is still developing. And I think that he thought that his style could essentially take over PPA. That just, drive the 3rd, the 5th, the 7th, right? Mm-hmm. I think that he felt like that style, he could do it better than everybody else. And now I think he's realizing he's probably got to evolve a little bit. You got to have weapons at the kitchen. Dude, I watched that match. Okay, it was Rafa and AJ versus QD and Hunter. Mm-hmm. And it was drive, right? And then they got to the kitchen, and 3 of the 4 players didn't know what to do.
Up, yeah.
And who dominated in that match? AJ.
Yeah.
Because he's the one guy that has weapons at the kitchen. The other ones didn't know what to do. And AJ literally was like this. He was just like crab walk. They'd just drive at him, crab walk, block. And he'd get to the kitchen, and it was over.
Yeah.
And it's like you gotta be well-rounded.
Do the pros switch handle lengths for singles versus doubles? Not to my knowledge. Without stating your own respective teams, who are your favorite teams and why? I like the Flash. They're good. The Shock, they're really good, but I don't love their swagger, is what Jimmy might call it. Their
I can see energy. That. I can see both sides of that. I think the Flash are fun to watch. I think I have to give credit to the Mad Drops just for having 97 players over the last 2 years.
Mad Drops have surprised me in a good way.
Yeah, and I think that Catherine and Jade have like been the only steady. I mean, even Catherine last year missed time for her wedding, which obviously is valid. But I think that they've been only steady people on that team, and they've still just been kind of right there.
Yeah.
So they're fun to watch, and they're an incredible Dream Breaker team, which makes it fun. And the other team that I actually like watching, I think that they're really talented if they ever put it all together, is Columbus.
Yes, I mean, I think they're top 5 right now.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Somebody said, why did MLP seem so subdued this time, not as exciting and smaller crowds? I think the crowds were there, maybe not on GS, but on center court, I think they were there. It may have seemed a little subdued this time because not the top 4 teams were there.
Yeah.
But I thought it was still fairly energetic.
Yeah, I thought it was too. Also, if you haven't been to Lifetime in San Clemente in person, it's a lot of seating. Mm-hmm. It goes up very high. There's a lot of seating. And like we said, there was also VIP and there was seating on the other side as well. So I think that has something to do with maybe feeling that way. But I thought that there was good energy, yeah.
Tyler, great playing this weekend. Are you going to sell your bike? I will most likely not be riding that for some time.
Can I borrow it?
If you want to.
No way.
Did Jimmy commentate any MLP matches? Which ones?
I did. I did I did one with Mish. We did DC versus. Now I can't even remember.
It was that good, huh?
It was the first day. Who was it? Oh, DC versus Florida? No.
Oh yeah, you kept dropping all these COD references, right?
Yeah. I don't even remember who it was.
Yeah.
DC against somebody on the very first day. Go watch it. It was DC. Wait. DC versus Bay Area.
How is Tyler better when he's crippled?
Hey, I heard something. Is this true that Yates gave you some tips on your forehand before a Dream Breaker?
No, he was telling me in doubles. I was all over the place in doubles. Singles, Dream Breaker, I played fairly well. But doubles, he told me to go like 65% of my normal shot because I was just trying to rip them and they were spraying all over the place. And when I did that like off-speed drive, it was pretty effective. And so he kept telling me to do that.
That makes sense.
Yates is funny.
Yeah, Yates is great.
Yates is hilarious. I think he's the funnier Johnson.
Yeah.
He's probably more talented too.
Yeah, for sure. And he'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Yates actually said that he said, I don't think people remember. I heard he was talking to Mimi and David Mercado. He said, I don't think people remember that I was freaking making quarters every event before I got hurt and Hunter was losing second round. He's like, just a quick reminder.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Who would Tyler rather play with for mixed? Paris or Tyra? I've played with both, actually.
You have. That's a tough one.
Paris I played with early on, like very early on. Well, both of them, actually.
Tyra very early, too. Who would you rather play with?
I think Paris has more weapons.
I agree, but
maybe Tyra's more steady.
But Tyra's probably a better defensive player and more steady.
Yeah.
I think you could win with both.
Yeah. I don't know. Would be fun. I would love to.
Yeah.
I would
You're not saying no to either one.
I would love to rekindle those partnerships.
Well, you don't need to because you have the future Paris and Tyra.
Lane is great.
Lane Sleeth.
Her defense is incredible.
Yeah. You know what Eric Tice said? He said he thinks Lane is the best female in Challenger.
Look at that.
It's a bold statement from a man who knows pickleball.
All right. We have a couple. Let's try to just do a couple more. All right.
Okay.
Let's see. All right. We've kind of talked about this before, but somebody said, why hasn't somebody picked up AJ Kohler? He's been a monster when he's subbed in.
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know if there's AJ has a reputation for being not a good teammate. I don't know, honestly. Or I do know in the past AJ has had a little bit of a rep of not caring. Mm-hmm. However, he's played so well. I think my own personal opinion is AJ is 100% proved himself. And
Do you think he played well in his last match against us? Did you see that?
no, I don't think he did. And he also didn't play well in the men's match against SoCal.
Okay.
But overall, I think he played.
I think that's been the biggest, well, what you said, and then also just the consistency. I mean, we've talked about this all the time, but there's some players who play incredible and then other times where they don't. And so is the highs, is that worth it to you?
Yeah, but if he's playing challenger, I think that he would do really well. Now, the one thing I think he struggled with a little bit was playing with Rafa, because Rafa's just a unique player. It's a little bit different to play with Rafa, right? And I think AJ is, what people wouldn't know about him is he's a very cerebral player. Mm-hmm. He's a smart dude on the court. So
I hit this massive overhead. It was like an Ernie, and I just smoked the ball. And I thought it was like 6 inches, a foot inside the line, and AJ calls it out right away. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And then he's like, "I'm joking." All right. Somebody said, if Utah swapped Jeannie for a better female, could they finish top 5?
I don't think top 5, but I think you'd definitely finish like 6, 7. Because who are you getting? But is this the Jessie? Do you go get Jessie? Like, if you guys had Jessie, I think that you could make a run at the top 6. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for the tickets. Is Tyra Black and James Ignatowicz dating? Are they dating?
Oh my gosh, I thought you said, is Tyra Black? Like, that was the end of it. Yes, she's black. No, they're not dating. Okay. He has a girl. He posted her. She's a blonde chick. She actually is doing a study on the effects of Adderall. So maybe they're not actually dating and James is just a case study.
Guinea pig?
Yeah, he's probably just a guinea pig.
All right. I think this was pretty much it. All right. Awesome. Anything else, Jimmy?
No, I'm excited for New York. Randall's Island, the John McEnroe Tennis Center on the 4th of July.
Fun fact. Do you know who Rod Laver is?
Yeah, I do.
So he was there in person at MLP this last weekend.
He was?
Yeah.
Really?
Watching center court.
Wow. Rod Laver.
Apparently, he's got a granddaughter that works for MLP or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And so he was out there watching.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's really impressive.
Yeah. Isn't one of the seniors like Ben Shelton's?
Rick Witskin is his uncle.
Uncle, that's right. Yeah, that's sick. Yeah. Love that. Also, Tyler, MLP New York, the Bears are doing like a massive party on the 4th of July. Mm-hmm. This penthouse at the top floor.
Tim Parks?
Tim Parks. I don't know.
Is he in default?
Probably.
It's been a good past 1 or 2 months. He should be fine.
It's been a while. He should be okay. He should be making a run.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be a good time for the Bears.
Guys, I'm not giving financial advice, but if you're into crypto,
here we go.
If you're into crypto, check out Pengu. Thank me in 3 months.
You're not a
financial advisor?
No. We're going to get canceled for that. Exactly. Of all the things we've ever done, that's the thing that's going to get us canceled.
Shilling my NFTs and
that's what's going to get us canceled. So.
All right. If you made it this far, please do us a big favor. Hit that like and subscribe button. It helps this channel grow. We've said this before, but I think next week we will attempt to move into our new studio.
Yeah.
I
haven't been in a minute. I should probably go by there, but
yeah,
I think it's ready.
Also, if anyone is local or wanting to come out and support an incredible local Utah tournament, one that I started, Summer Lovin', it is being revived.
It is.
August. Club Pickleball USA in Utah. It will be there. But yeah, I started it. That's actually how we met.
We met at Summer
Lovin' on the bleachers at AF High School.
Yep. We were, yeah.
So yeah, if anyone wants to play in that.
You threw a paddle over the tennis courts and hit the scoreboard for $20.
Dude, don't underestimate my rage.
Oh.
Okay.
All right.
Jimmy, are we going to get rid of these 10-inch long white shirts underneath?
What is this? What is happening?
Dude, this is
past your elbows.
This is
that the style now?
I don't want a tank top right now.
Is that the style now?
Yeah. Have you not been outside your house?
No, I haven't. I don't pay attention. By the way, I met.
Are these Nikes, your shorts?
Yeah, you like them?
I actually do.
Yeah.
That's something that Tyson would wear.
Wow.
He's got
He's that decent style?
yeah.
Yeah. The flamingos. Flamingos are big.
Yeah.
So I won the
Alrighty.
MLP.
I know. I thought I saw that.
Yeah.
Have you watched them?
Yes, I washed them. Freaking, I'm a laundry guy. So,
Okay. We will see you guys next time. Thanks.